As many of you know, this past Saturday we had police and fire crews respond to a home in the 3400 block of Horseshoe Trail in reference to two small children, ages 3. They were twin brothers and sisters who resided at the house. Were found unresponsive inside a pickup truck that belonged to the family who lived there. The fire department arrived on scene, began efforts to resuscitate the children, and while they were in transport to Willis Knight and Bossier. However, the two children were pronounced deceased at the hospital. Since then, detectives with our juvenile unit have been conducting an extensive investigation, trying to basically nail down the circumstances surrounding how these children ended up in the pickup truck. I can tell you autopsies on both children were done yesterday. The preliminary results from those autopsies indicate that their deaths were heat-related. There was no sign of trauma on the children. Again, at this point, the investigation remains ongoing, and in that regard, we're going to be limited on some of the information that we can release at this time due to the ongoing investigation. But just safe to say that detectives are working hard to confirm some things that they've learned in the investigation and determine a final conclusion to this.
With neighbors saying that the mother fell asleep and then the children walked outside the open door, is the mother possibly going to face any criminal charges? That's
going to be up to the investigation. It's going to be what the investigation, what detectives find. Certainly, when detectives investigate anything, to this sort of situation, even on a deceased person when we don't have all the answers, certainly a criminal investigation is conducted. But that determination has not been made yet.
How does this case relate to Bossier Sheriff's?
Well, the father of the children is a Bossier Parish Sheriff's deputy. He was not at the residence at the time of the incident.
Do investigators believe at this point that the children were able to open the door of the truck themselves and close it?
That's among some of the things that detectives are looking to confirm in regards to the investigation.
Does it look so far like this could just be an accidental death? The kids getting into a car they couldn't get out?
That is certainly a possibility, yes.
The neighbor that lived next door was also saying that there was a stool located next to the truck that the children might have used to get up on to open the door.
There was a stool located next to the truck. I believe we had some media on scene who were aware of that.
Were there any car seats that were found in the truck?
There were child restraint seats inside the vehicle. I can tell you that this was not a case of anybody or the children traveling in the pickup truck that day and somebody just leaving in there and not getting them out. The pickup truck, as far as what detectives know now, was not used that day. I know that there's been a lot of interest from the public in this case, and that's understandably so. But we wanted to try to keep you all informed on where the investigation is. Certainly, once there is a conclusion, no matter what that conclusion is, media and the public will be notified. It's certainly a tragic situation. You can only imagine what the family's going through. Not only, the extended family, the first responders having to deal with a situation like this. It's tough. A lot of our first responders have children this age. Some who responded to the scene, and it's a very tragic situation, and but one that the detectives with our juvenile unit are investing a lot of time in.
Do they know how long the children were left in the
Do not know that at this point, no ma'am.
Again, with the mother, I know one of the children was just bit by a dog that was, living at the residence just, I guess, a month ago. And
there was an incident on May 29th in which the family dog bit the 3-year-old boy. The dog was seized by Bossier Animal Control as part of protocol. I don't know if you all were out at the scene. There's a sign on the fence, the backyard fence, saying that is a dangerous dog. In situations like that, determinations are made when an animal is involved in a certain situation, such as biting somebody. A dangerous dog designation is put in place. In this case, the owners of the dog voluntarily went ahead and did that. As far as a dangerous dog declaration, there are certain things that pet owners have to comply with. The sign that you saw on the fence, that's one of them. Whenever the dog's walked, he's got to wear a muzzle. There's some fees involved as well and some other requirements. But I can tell you that the dog, was not a factor in the Saturday incident. Nor have there been any other or previous incidents involving that animal.
Has the Bossier Police Department had to respond to any similar calls related?
We have
to...
not. We have not had any calls on record of any kind of criminal nature involving anybody at that residence.
Oh, or related to the heat.
Or
the
related to the
children
heat
left
or the
in
children.
cars?
Not involving these children. No, ma'am.
Okay. Or any other families that you're aware of at this
Not
time?
this year.
Okay.
I can't recall any this year. We have in the past, but this year I don't believe so. And whatever the outcome of the investigation is, we still want to stress everybody. It's very hot. Even now. I mean, we're not getting up to, well, I don't know if we're getting up to 100 today or not. But be cognizant of that. If you got children in your car and you're on traveling in your car, make that extra effort to make sure they're out of the car when you get to your destination or arrive home, because you all have done stories on it. It takes no time for it to get dangerously hot inside a vehicle that's closed up in conditions like this.
And just for clarification, neighbors are who found the children in the truck, correct?
What happened is, what we understand at this point is the mother went to the next door neighbor asking them if they had seen their children. Apparently at some point she was at home and at some point could not find her children, went next door, and at which time, as what I understand, a brief search was conducted and they subsequently found the children inside the pickup truck that was parked in front of the house in the driveway.
But the mother was among those who found the children?
Correct.
Okay.
Was the truck locked when the neighbors?
I don't know.
Their other child, I know there's one more child that they have. Is the state looking into, as far as his safety?
As with any case involving juveniles as this magnitude or any incident that we work, Child Protective Services has been notified.
You mentioned since this was heat-related that and we're coming up at the beginning of summer, can you give us again some tips that people can have for making sure their children are safe when traveling in a vehicle?
Well,
and also
yeah.
what passers-by could do if they should happen to see a child in a locked car.
Well, if you see somebody, a child in a locked car, even if the car's running and you assume the air conditioning is on, notify authorities. And if the car's not running, certainly call 911. And we've got officers who can respond and take action. If it means busting out a window, they'll do it. Just depends upon the situation. As far as tips, I've heard a couple of unique tips of people intentionally putting items in the back seat where children are, like a purse